So Dying Light is a song that is named after a poem by Dylan Thomas called Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night. And it's a reference specifically to to a line in that poem. The song itself kind of speaks to realizing that there needs to be an urgency to our lives, and that we don't have infinite time on this earth. So use it wisely. And yeah, it's really just a testament to like going after the things that you really want to do. Hell and Back was lyrically, I think, was the most enjoyable song for me to write on the EP. Song was instrumentally probably the heaviest song on the record, but it's also, I think, the heaviest as far as like the lyrical content in a sense. The idea was really just to illustrate and reflect the times that we live in currently, when it comes to like certain issues such as like politics and the apparent spread of hatred and discrimination that we see across the globe. And it's really just a call out to that and trying to tell people like, hey, be aware that this is happening. But it's also a message in saying that we don't have to accept this as our reality. There's positive decisions that we can make every day and positive changes that we can pursue. Pale Blue was probably the song I was most passionate in writing the lyrics for. Just with it being a topic that is so kind of near and dear to my heart. I mean, there's no mystery to what that song is about. I think it was intended to be fairly on the nose in that it's really a story about climate change and the way in which I see people kind of treating the earth and our planet. And it's the idea is to kind of shine a light on what the reality of the earth could potentially look like and is on track to look like in our lifetime, and the negative side effects of the way in which we've acted over the past few decades. And it was really just an effort to raise awareness. I think it's something that each of us in the band kind of have some opinions on and share a particular stance. So I think it was a necessary topic for us to address within the EP. And it definitely comes up. That topic definitely comes up again within other songs on the EP. But this was really kind of like the song where I wanted to focus my attention on that one particular topic. Dark Days was a fun song to write because I tried to stir up a lot of like very, not to create a pun, but dark imagery within the lyrics. The song was kind of similarly to Hell and Back, intended to kind of talk about the situation that we find ourselves in as a society these days when it comes to various topics such as like politics and climate change and various forms of discrimination that we see in our society. And while those topics are touched upon and painted through various images within the lyrics, it was still intended to be like a hopeful song. And I think that's why the bridge or the refrain of the song kind of sounds a little bit more positive in comparison to the verses and the introduction. In that, despite all these negative things that we're experiencing at this moment in time, there is hope, and there are people out there who are actively making steps towards positive change. And it's an anthem of sorts to support those people and for each of us to become those people, to kind of stand up for what it is that you believe in, regardless as to what that is, and don't let people tell you that you're wrong or insignificant when it comes to voicing your opinions on topics that are really important for the future of our international society, for the future of the world. Place of Regret, I think if the EP was to have a title track, I think that that's the song that would be a title track of sorts. You know, the opening lines of that song are really what inspired the artwork for the EP. Hence why I kind of look at it as a title track of sorts. But Place of Regret is really just kind of a reflection of my current feelings towards like various things that that we as a society have moved towards in recent years, and kind of trying to reflect upon like my own actions and the role that each of us play as individuals when it comes to, you know, whether we choose to make the world a better place or not, and that can kind of be perceived in whichever way you see fit. But it was really just kind of a song to try to inspire positive change within people, and don't let yourself settle for like what the current state of affairs is when it comes to the things that you're passionate about, and don't be afraid to speak up and stand up for what you believe in. As Above, So Below was definitely the most personal song when it came to the lyrics and the writing of those lyrics. It's definitely a departure from the lyrical content of the rest of the EP, in that it's less about our collective experience as a society, but it's more about like my personal experience in losing a grandparent, and just the frustration and the worry that accompanies the experience of losing someone that you care for deeply, and is really just kind of like my thoughts on what it is that I was going through, and almost a thank you of sorts towards my grandmother, and kind of just talking about some things that I would have liked to have said to her in her lifetime, but felt that I didn't really have the chance to say. And I think for me is what makes this the most impactful song on the EP, in that, you know, regardless as to what your ideologies are or what your political beliefs are, like loss is going to be something that everyone experiences in their life in some way, shape, or form. And there's something I think quite universal about a piece of art that's reflective of that. And yeah, I mean, if there was any one song on the record that I would love for people to have connected with, it's definitely As Above, So Below.